Welcome back, mercenaries, to Wartales and a brand new feature added into the game, bounties. The developers have released new unique contracts you can pick up from the bounty board, the very first one being defeating Rojen here. Now, these are limited time runs. They run for 1 week from when they are released as part of a patch, and there's going to be 4 in the coming months. They all provide a unique weapon in addition to your crown reward. So today we are going to be going for, if I can pull it up, Rojen's unique weapon. Now, it's not going to be legendary. It is going to be unique and have its own name, but it's not going to be purple quality. So I apologize if I ever mix up my vocabulary as to the quality of the weapon. The key that takeaway from that is that it will not be able to be leveled by the Companions Guild. Oh, we talked them up. Instead of 340, no, this guy's way too special. 588 crowns, please. Now, having time-sensitive missions in what is otherwise a single-player game, I know it's a touchy issue for some. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. The devs have said that they're looking at a way where there'll be a rotation of bounties that will become permanent, so if you miss being able to do the combat encounter, you'll have the opportunity to be able to fight Rojen at a later date, and also potentially be able to pick up the legendary weapons from a unique vendor. That will probably be how they set it up so that you can get higher leveled versions of the weapon. I think overall they're not sure 100% how bounties are going to be implemented in the game moving forward, but there are plans that these are not going to be the only chance to be able to get these. I think the idea of these unique bounties being able to appear in any region for specialized times, I think is really interesting. I don't know if this implementation is necessarily the best, so hopefully the devs keep on working on improving it. And as I said, this bounty can appear in any region, and you're only going to be able to find Rojen through picking up his contract on the bounty board. Otherwise, he will not just appear in the overworld and randomly attack you. You have to seek him out. Rojen the Deceitful, you have led your company of companions astray and have tarnished the names of all mercenaries in this land. He has hired killers, ravagers, crewmates, and arrows. Let's see how this battle will go. At level 8, their raw stats should be about equal to my party, so I'm not too worried about that, though these crewmates look very beefy, and Rojen himself looks quite dangerous. He has Subversive Strike, deals 104 damage to all the units in the area, and applies destabilization during 1 round on those who have at least 30% guard. Okay, so if we're using units with high armor up against them, he's going to take away all their armor. But if you only have a little bit of armor, you're okay. He's providing damage increase of 30% as long as he is not engaged personally in battle. And these are elite mercenaries. Companions have rivalry if they are engaged in combat, meaning we really have to gang up on them if we're going to want to chew through their damage. And this is the legendary weapon. It looks like it's using the same art as Lucilla. It might have some unique features. Maybe Lucilla is also bloody. But I think that Fozzie is going to be the excellent character to throw up against him, because Fozzie happens to not rely on armor whatsoever, meaning that he's going to be perfect to take the destabilization. And where goes my bear, so goes my Beastmaster. These two should be able to handle the enemies off on this side. I would like to have somebody that I can throw across to the archer. Perhaps my wolf to be able to support. I think Wolfie has enough space to walk over. Yeah, he's going to be able to make that. All right, and now I'll line up all the rest of my characters. Lament the fact that we don't have a deployment phase in battle yet, and then we'll get into the action. This formation seems agreeable to me, and with both enemies that are about to go on the next turn unable to reach any of my companions, it's time to focus down Rojen himself. Let's run Wolfie across while the zone is open to be able to get into base contact with arrow. Ferocious Bite, cut through his armor. There they get the rivalry, meaning that all future damage that we deal to them is going to be severely reduced. And then we want to be able to move Fozzie up. I can't get them into base with both. We'll just go right up for Rojen. Monstrous swipe. And now rivalry again, reducing our damage. We were able to stay out of range of these two enemies, and they had this pocket that deployed around the choke point. I'm counting on it, taking them a number of turns to be able to rejoin with the main force. This Ravager wants to play. I could send Dora over to try and mess him up. And we could also play for being able to get bleeding. He has the damage over time ticking. Peppa could also do that, though. Perhaps we send in the pig. There we go. Now we have rivalry up. And who is on their next round? They have one over here. And this guy right in the center. Alright, we should be able to get to him and deal severe damage. I think Odo is able to tag both of these guys. It's an awkward position. We can use armor crashing. This will stack up bleeding on both of them. And then if we find the pixel perfect spot, we can then get poison on them as well. And I think afterwards we're going to want to keep on moving Odo out so that we don't clog up the battle in this field and be able to get around to the future enemy targets. It's a lot of damage onto Peppa, but she should be fine. I'm in a decent spot for a snipe here to be able to come on in. 57 to 95 is my damage spread. He's got, we just checked, it's around 78 damage, 78 health remaining. The crit seals it. Now, we're able to gain a little bit of rage because we were using our maximum range. We'll run across, and I don't think this is long enough to really pick up the enemies walking into the zone. So we'll just hold. Battle plan is coming together quite cleanly. This Ravager is still not able to make contact with any of our units. And then they have one other going. It is going to be Rojen himself. Okay, maybe then we want to try and pile on some damage to Rojen. I have a chance of applying... Do I apply bleeding? Yes, right between the eyes applies bleeding. So let's send Loki across. Right between the eyes to get him bleeding. Crit as well. Slaughter. If we'd gotten the crit, maybe something crazy could have happened. But then I just want to rest here so that we get the Valor point back. And we can see the bleeding tick over as he smashes into Fozzie. The rest of his crew might be more challenging to be able to take out than Rojen himself. This hired killer has excellent mobility, so I think this is where we deploy Axe. Run him up, be able to use Slice and Dice to catch both enemies here. Rampage into Wrath. And we're able to keep him out from ever taking a turn. Then, there's a chance of just running back to be able to get close enough to them. But I could also fall back a little. Force the enemies to keep on advancing towards the rest of my crew. This archer wants to play. So we're actually going to send Dora up to bog him down. Fury of Blows. Ripped right out of the Monk D&D class. And then this crewmate has not gone. But I don't think some of these other characters have either. Let's actually use Clint here. We can run up next to Fozzie. Command attack against the arrow. Wolfie gets the free attack with Fury. Almost gets him. And then we'll be able to drop Rojen here. Now, I'm not too concerned about this crewmate. So we'll slide back behind Fozzie. Get the heal on all of our animals. Yes. The archer is completely neutralized once they are brought into melee combat. The arrow is a unique ranged enemy who does bonus damage against targets who are low health. I don't think they're going to be scoring any of that bonus damage today. Okay, Eowyn, what's the full combo you're able to run? We go Taunt. That weakens, engages, gets the Valor point back. Disengage. So we take 8 damage and you take 44. That seems fair to me. Hallowed Strike? No. Destabilizing? Well, I knew I could get the guaranteed crit, but I was hoping that it would be enough to kill. It's not enough to kill. So then we disengage yet again, take another 8 damage. He's still weakened. He's weakened for the entire round. And we're able to basically double our damage with the attacks of opportunity from Riposte. And then we can just keep on advancing. Eowyn's in very heavy armor right now, slowing her down quite a bit. Hopefully we get some level ups with some extra mobility onto Eowyn. Then I think we just move Jab up. We do the strike here. This will mark him with the spear, which Snipe can cash in for multiple Valor points. And then we can just keep on running up. Deploy the spear wall. In case the enemies want to rush in towards us. We're pretty full of Valor points right now. We have Flush with Valor. This Ravager that I marked wants to go next. He has 17 guard and 150 total health. I don't think that I am cutting through that. So we'll send Axe around, even though it will likely waste the mark. Be able to get Slice and Dice across. Line in want the rampage. Does Wrath kill? Wrath does not kill. It does. We could go for capturing him. These guys are not actually considered. Well, no. The slice and dice was going to finish him. These guys are not considered companions, correct? They are considered companions. So these guys are considered companions. This is important because it means that they cannot be sold if I capture them. But Rojen was marked as a fugitive, which is a whole nother class of enemy types. Trying to keep things straight here, Shiro Games. Honestly, I think that I want this crewmate to be focused on Nefazi instead of Loki. We'll go ahead, spin him around. Also applies fragility, which is fantastic for us. Loki now should be able to just annihilate him. Do I go slaughter first or do I go right between the eyes? If the target is already bleeding, the damage is doubled and critical damage of the attack is increased by 30%. But he's not already going to be bleeding. So I think I just go for the stab to stack up my rage so that then this has the most damage. Yeah, I guess. Finally, I suppose I could come around. Shall we give the bear the tactical order? All right, finish him. There it is. Now, can I get into a position where I get the valor point back? I cannot. So we'll run around. I'm not going to say I was disappointed by these enemies, but I do feel like the map gave me a very favorable start with some of the enemies cut off from the rest of the main group and able to have the leader isolated as well. So we've been chewing through them quite easily here. Destabilizing strike, probably should have done that a little earlier to take away their armor. Do I go for one more opportunity attack? No, I think we stay engaged here. And then he attacks us, but we get to use the riposte at that time. Clint is just taking care of business. Beastmaster showing his colors. Jab. Jab gets the kill. We're galvanized at this point. We're able to just roll him over. And there they are. The rest flee. Now give me my bounty loot. Rojen used this Becta Corbin to murder in their sleep the merchants he was meant to protect. Strength plus 35 and subversive strike skill. Deals 95% strength damage to all units in the area. Applies destabilization during one round to those who have at least 30% guard. So, area of effect destabilization. I believe this is the only source in the game that puts destabilization on an area of effect ability. Let's see how you look, Odo. Ooh, that is so big. It's as wide across as his entire chest. There's no way a person is actually able to swing this. It's like wrapped around a stone. We're going into Monster Hunter level of weaponry here. We have vanquished Rojen's Quarteri, 588 crowns. Now, give me a mission where I will be able to test out this new and glorious hammer. We're at the companion training grounds here. We want to look into respecking Odo into a build that's going to be more favorable towards using this weapon, because my previous build was built entirely around the weapon choice that I had, the Legion two-handed hammer, which has the same strength bonus as Rogue. So level 8 weapon, it's not standing out in terms of stats. Its real draw is going to be this unique subversive strike, which is applying destabilization in an AoE. As we have continued to see the level cap increase for the game, the guard values have continued to go up. So I can only imagine that this is going to keep on scaling effectively into higher level endgame scenarios than we're even able to reach right now, with the enemy's effective health pool around their armor just becoming insane. Let's respec Odo. Confirm, my friend. Now, Odo, you have all your skills to be able to take, and he lost his armor because you're only able to take the armor that is queued into your subclass. We definitely want to be able to grab Valorous Chain, because getting the attacks against multiple enemies is what the two-handed maces do best. Now, for subclass, Vanguard and Smasher both play into the AoE. Smasher is what we were before, being able to use poison because the Legion two-handed hammer was already automatically applying bleeding. The interesting thing here is that the damage is the same between Smasher and Vanguard, and so then you're weighing, do you want to have the free disengage and extra movement, and slowdown, or do you want to have the offhand chance that you apply poison based on another ally setting up bleeding on the opponents? Just for a flavor of something different, we are going to go Vanguard. They even gain the same strength bonus and have the same armor available to them. We're going to go Vanguard and then equip so that I get to see the Odo that I am used to. Now, Armor Breaker would increase the damage you inflict armor by 35%. That could be quite nice. The other ones are nifty. Utility, you'd gain a little bit of extra durability out of Opportunism, or Cruelty, which is giving us the extra damage and crit hit based on units with a debuff, and Destabilization is a debuff, so Cruelty is what we had before. Could still be what we go for, but we're really looking at becoming just a armor destroyer here, so we're gonna go Armor Breaker. And then Guard Breaker, well, we're already trying to eliminate the enemy's guard, so I don't need that. Temperance will give us more durability, and one-on-one would equally give us more durability. The thing is, I don't really want one-on-one because I want to throw Odo into a group of enemies to be able to attack multiple enemies. We're going to go for Temperance here. And then we have to make sure that we get the skill masteries applied here to be able to have the full contingent of our abilities. Okay, so now we can gain Fury if Relentless Charge. No, if at the end of the turn we are next to an enemy, we gain Fury. And on Armor Breaker, if we do an attack that fully destroys an enemy's armor, which we are certainly geared to be able to accomplish, we will gain Brutality and Inspiration. So because Brutality is different from Fury, we'll be able to stack the damage increase there. And then Temperance is one of the weird ones that there's no skill mastery version for, so we just have Temperance. Now to find and destroy our foes. Level 8 enemies, this should be a good opportunity to showcase what the Mace is bringing. Alright, first matter as before was to engage the enemy captain, preventing them from being able to get his bonus to his leadership, which was doubling their movement. Very challenging to be able to work with enemies who are always able to get into base-to-base contact. And then they have forced disengagement, meaning that if they begin their turn engaged with one of us, they're able to get a free attack of opportunity. Now, I have to remember what the tactician does, because I think that they changed his ability, attack order. You get base damage and then ambush. If the target is engaged in combat with an ally, the ally executes an attack of opportunity. If my memory serves, the old attack order did not have any damage on it whatsoever. It would only apply the attack of opportunity to an ally, and that was just so easy to be able to manipulate and play around that they changed that. So let's use Odo to be able to see what we've got. We have both of these enemies. Now, Subversive Strike, destabilization only applies if the enemy has over 30% guard. So we're not going to actually be able to destabilize the Phalanx Soldier, and the Tactician with no armor at all cannot be destabilized either, but the Foot Soldier can. So we want to make sure that we are going to target this unlucky Foot Soldier. We also want to be able to use Relentless Charge, and I have to remember that this is a dash rather than the swing around yourself. Let's run up here and then be able to use Relentless Charge to run through them. Targeting both. Getting the slowdown applied. Come back. Subversive Strike. Get a little closer there. There's Subversive Strike. The damage is pretty good. And Inspiration and Brutality, so we're able to just roll on the buffs with the whole setup that we have. Oh, and because we have Inspiration, does Inspiration reset your movement? I think Inspiration is resetting the movement here. That it's not only doubling, but is also resetting. That's crazy. Well, now that the enemies have had their armor smashed up and this guy's been destabilized, we should move Odo around to where some more durable enemies are. We have more Foot Soldiers over here, Lieutenant out here, and then all the way in the corner we've got Phalanx, another Foot Soldier, and a Lieutenant. Yeah, so really we want to focus on being able to bring Odo towards the Foot Soldiers. Let's run up here. And Odo's taking a turn where he's run about 30 meters in a single turn. A little winded. Let's quickly try to follow up on this Foot Soldier being destabilized to be able to cut through the last of his armor here. Be able to get a few more debuffs going with the Croc Swine. Now, I probably could have positioned a little bit better at the beginning of the battle, bringing Eowyn over, because Eowyn using destabilizing strike is able to apply destabilization herself, but if the target is already destabilized, then we're able to get the guaranteed critical hit. So you could have some beautiful synergy between some swordsmen using destabilizing strike with the mastery tome, and then this new weapon being able to set up a lot of guaranteed crits for them. There's certainly a path for higher DPS through that route. Come on, Black Friday, help out Peppa before we lose the destabilization and their guard is back up. This foothold is still going to be tough. And that's the free attack because they were engaged. Forced its engagement. So being engaged, they get the free attack of opportunity, and then they get their basic attack on top of that. Low-key, you should be able to take a big turn here. Being able to use right between the eyes, get some damage out. Get the kill on the tactician. And then cross back across the battlefield up toward this clump of enemies. Let's use the small explosion. I have really not played with hand bombs at all. Small explosion. All targets in the area lose 10% of their max health and applies bleeding on critical hit. I get 4 uses remaining. This is expending Elazarian powder and taking away all the frames. Come on. Don't tell me this is going to crash my game. There. Wow. I did not think that the game was going to take that much of a performance hit trying to use the single offhand item. But there you have it. We were able to get the damage and percent health damage bleeding on 2 targets there. This is incredible. Wait, why is Loki bleeding? Loki, you were not in the blast. Eowyn here, going to be very fun to use. We're able to get in some great attacks and still not engage with the enemies. Even though, yeah, let's go for it. We can taunt them. Weaken, engage, gain the valor point back, disengage, attack of opportunity. That trades up for us. And then I'll leave Eowyn right there and then hope that the bleeding enemies take turns because that'll apply bleeding to Eowyn. But Eowyn has the passive where she can turn any kind of damage over time effect into rage instead. Will only make her more powerful. Let's go Ferocious Bite. And Wolfie getting some good work in. Do I want him to stay with the animal companions or do I want him to swing to the side? That's a good question. There's way more enemies over here and not nearly as many of us. Let's cross. I think we have enough on the older portions of the battlefield to be able to deal with the enemies in that area. Oh goodness. Snipe. Save some for the rest of us. With the way that the enemies are able to gain the free attacks of opportunity, it's very important for us to finish off anyone that we are directly engaged with. Use a lot of focused fire here. So we'll get this kill. And then I could... what is the right angle? I can come up to here and I believe use slice and dice against both. Is this? Oh, it will catch Eowyn. Okay, okay. And I used all of my movement. I don't want to hurt Eowyn, so we'll just use Rampage. Well, is there a way that I can only catch one? There it is. Okay, this is the attack. We get this, and then we can use Rampage. Hope for a crit. It's good enough. Dora gets this kill. On kills, she gains Valor points. She can then run across. Their numbers are being depleted. This foot soldier is starting to come forward, which is perfect because then Odo will be able to come in and unleash to be able to cut down all of his armor. So we have 4 turns to be able to pass until that happens. Time to focus somewhere else on the map. Now we still have inspiration from the previous round where we were able to destroy an enemy's armor fully. This means that we can come up here, 18.5 meter run, use Subversive Strike here to apply destabilization. Now we do get engaged, but we should be able to easily... I wanted to be able to clip this Phalanx Soldier. Well, we can still break free, and we do more damage this way because he was destabilized. Now, because we did not break the enemy's armor, we don't get the full suite of buffs. But Odo ending next to the Phalanx Soldier will still be able to pick up something. What do you get? He should be able to gain another stack of Fury to add to his brutality and galvanization. So, just an absolute war machine right now. We're going to send Loki up to be able to capitalize on the enemy's guard being down. 84 damage. Fantastic. Odo is engaged here. That's fine. Eowyn now. We can do a little trick here where we run Eowyn through the fire just to be able to get her rage ticked up. I'm not going to do this exhaustively, but you can do some crazy things here. Then we'll run across because this enemy is already destabilized. We'll go for the crit. And then just disengage. Kill him looking away. And provide some assistance to our friend Odo. Okay, Odo, can you get the final kill? 126 damage out of Subversive Strike. And then dash through for the kill. There it is. And they flee before us. I must say, using the new axe on Odo, very fun. The new build, quite interesting. I don't know if this is the best build. Let me know in the comments if you think there's a way that you can improve the synergies here, either with equipment or other companions, or potentially the skills that Odo himself is taking. Now, the devs are putting me in a sticky situation because, as you can see, I have quite the collection of legendary weapons that is already just sitting in my inventory as extra carry weight. And with the advent of the pack ponies, we are able to carry a lot more than we were before. But you still don't have limitless carry capacity, and if we're going to be getting more and more unique weapons, the hoarder inside me cannot sell them to let them go until they provide a way where we know that we can acquire them again. So it might be putting a little bit of a pinch on my carrying capacity until that happens. Let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see as the final implementation of the bounty system, because the devs have said that they don't want it to always be just a time-sensitive thing. They want to have either vendors or other opportunities to be able to pick up these contracts. Very curious to see what they end up doing, but until then, there's going to be weekly installments of this videos as we track down all of these bonus bounties and get to test out the brand new weapons that is coming along with them. Subscribe to the channel so you make sure that you see when these new bounty videos drop, and until next time, thank you guys for watching and have a good one.